rather not. But never mind, that's a me thing, that's a me problem, and it's a problem I will solve. We have 12 on the north, 12 on the south. Believe it or not, these are dual captains. I don't know which captain is the one that's in charge and which one is not. With 5 more people to be picked, we'll end up with about 14 on 14, 15 on 15, 30 people. Oh, we're starting the game now. Well, there it is. The numbers have appeared. 12 on 12 to begin with a few more people to come in on the island as well. We're back. And my little 3D model seems to be bugging out a little bit. So if it gets really weird and starts like blinking and seizing, then I may need to switch him off for a little bit. But welcome in, everybody on YouTube. Welcome. This is a duos game. There are 2 captains on the north and 2 captains on the south. This is a new format. There's many new things actually that I want to kind of cover, including in-game betting. And YouTube algorithm, I mean betting in-game currency, not real-life currency. This is not a betting stream. Please don't flag me for terrible content. You can basically bet Buy to Battles coins, which are only in Factorio and not based off real money at all. And you can kind of basically guess who wins the game. I think I've got like 9 already. I think, yeah, some people have like billions. Oh, here we go. The top 3 losers, I love this. The top 3 losers are Muddlebox, Massive Blue, and Dustin. And it looks like Meow Fables is 200 coins already. Boys, we might need to get into this. Well, I genuinely might need to get into some coinage, right? And then we have like a prediction, so you can predict who wins. I like this. This is kind of cool. You know, you can predict who wins and who loses, and then you get to see who's like, yeah. Interesting. Okay, right. The game's begun, so we'll talk a little bit about what's happening here now. If any of you are new and tuning in for the first time, it doesn't really matter if it's on Twitch or YouTube. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them into chat, you know. It helps drive the algorithm, it helps drive engagement, and it shows Twitch and YouTube that there are people watching that are taking part, and so that they're engaged with the content. I'm not saying that so I get paid a bit more or I get more ad revenue or whatever, but like we try and answer as many of the questions that newer players have, because there's a lot going on that can be skipped over and skimmed over if you don't know what you're looking for. So yeah, the only reason I say that is that we can answer any question you have pretty quickly actually, as a community, not just me, but I'll try and get to as many people as possible. In terms of the map, the opening patches in this area for main base are very, very abundant. We like having 1 million copper, we like having 600,000 stone, and 1 million iron there with another 1.4 mil and some coal just outside of that. Yeah, I mean, we have everything you could possibly want in main base to start building up that main base area. Oil is tantalizingly close to the north and to the west. And if we go further west as well, there is an abundance of lots of lovely oil nodes here, and also here. So in terms of whether this should be a slow or fast game, depending on which team decides to pick which kind of play style, we should, hopefully, touch wood, not take too long getting off the ground and get the game started. So as you all know, we don't start with any form of automation whatsoever, and our sole objective within the game mode is to protect our rocket silo at all costs. Both teams have one, and this is our defining objective. We have to protect this. If this dies in any way, then our team have lost, basically. So you've got to keep it alive, right? How do you do that? Well, you need to start taking the raw materials that you're given at the beginning of the game, things like these iron patches and these copper patches, and with some burner miner drills and some stone furnaces, and filling them, feeding them to begin with coal, we are going to begin to create plates, which we can then create other items from, and begin building our base up. So initially we'll get some power down. For instance, here we've got your standard issue boiler into a steam turbine, feed that with a little bit of coal and obviously fill it full of water. That will create steam, and that steam through these power poles should generate power that can then kind of, maybe help us research. We also see a couple of players moving out to the north and to the south, so people moving towards the bugs. Zero-Sun is a character which I definitely want to kind of touch base with a little bit during this game. I believe that there are many players that play like different styles of threat farming, and in my mind, the last 2 to 4 times I've seen Zero-Sun play the game, I'd like to say that he's closest to the more traditional version of threat farming. than kind of your new wave, new age way of playing the game. Now, obviously, you know, every month to 2 months, there is some adaptation within the game style, within the meta of the game. And so we'll look for those adaptations, those changes of builds, changes of itemization, changes of just generally how you get the job done. But needless to say, the way that you get this job done here by, you know, going up and killing the bugs is you just need to get a weapon and get going. In my mind, the faster you can get into your work, the better your team will be off for that. And so at the beginning of the game, obviously, the bugs are very, very weak and they are very easy to kill. You don't need a ton of stuff to do that. You can just go in with a pistol, pull the trigger a couple of times and a couple of hundred bugs will go down. Outpost-wise, that's a very good point. Let me just take a quick look on the outpost element. Now, there's only 12 on 12 to begin with. However, there'll be another pick phase very soon for people that have joined us a little bit late. I know there's about 5, maybe 6 or 7 people on the island still to kind of come into the game. In terms of outposts, we need a lot of copper to begin with. Outposts are typically kind of late game bases that take all game to build up and then turn on to give you a win condition. So these are bases that can produce nuclear power, they can produce rockets, they can produce purple signs, they can produce yellow signs. They tend not to be early game, so you need lots of coal, lots of copper and lots of iron. And I would say out here to the west, this is a really generous area actually. You could base a late game base in and around this spot. That being said, to the east, I mean, you'd have to go quite far. Probably in and around this area with the amount of coal and copper. This is nice, but it's kind of quite far away. So yeah, I would say to the west is an easier setup for you if you wanted to build a rocket base. In terms of difficulty, what are we on? Piece of cake, interesting, okay. So piece of cake difficulty, typically, from my experience, we're looking at about a 1 hour, maybe 2 hour game. It really depends on kind of which side decides to kind of start switching the aggression on early on. So I'd like to say like an hour to an hour and a half is typically where we see a game like this end. So after the 90-minute mark, one team has completely collapsed. Sometimes they can cling on for an extra 30 minutes. I would be very surprised if this game goes beyond 2 hours. And that is a great point. Let me set up the prediction. It's been such a long time since I have streamed that I genuinely forgot about that. Sorry, mate. We'll do it now, though. Prediction will come up. Right, let's see. Stream thingy manager. Let's go prediction. Start it up. And we'll give you 30 minutes to predict. Alright, boys and girls, people of the internet, a prediction has begun. You can choose whether or not your team will win, lose. Remember guys, this is all with channel points which are earned just from being here, so this isn't real money, real currency isn't changing hands here. And is blueprint import allowed? Absolutely not. We don't look down on people who do use blueprints, but given the nature and the state of the game and also the quality of the players that are involved, you might not recognize many of these names, but for us kind of veterans of the scene, so to speak, there are some real legends here. So speedrunners, world record, or previous, sorry, I'd like to say world record holders. We don't allow the importing of blueprints. However, you can build them whilst you're in the game. And what you'll find lots of pro players do is they'll find a nice quiet corner and create the Megazord. You know, they'll create something massive out of obviously ghosted blueprints that we will then see kick in down the line. So yeah, as it stands, no importing of blueprints. We had people try, and even though they were kind of successful, they were so bad at the game that they just got blown out the water. I kind of felt bad for them, so I reported them at the end of the game. There are don't do this, but there are technically ways of getting blueprints in. You're just still gonna lose. Like if you need them for a game like this, you probably have already lost. And the reason I say that is because when we look at, for instance, this smelting stack here, the main base builder of the north, which it looks to be the pipe, pipes. This is the thePiedPiper. He's a veteran player. He used to speedrun. I believe he's part of a world record group that are either first or second place in world record group factorio, whatever, speedrunning. Like, this is perfectly calculated to win a game. And I mean that down to the last coal rock thrown into a stone smelter, the last iron plate, the last copper plate. Like, this is the epitome of the most calculated you could possibly be. Any more than this and it's excessive, any less than this and you'll get there slow. This is the smelting you need to win a game. Now, they're not all going to go down straight away, these smelting lines, but over time, if you can, with your team, get these down, feed and fuel them fully, so you obviously need to fully saturate the belts, and obviously then, you know, kind of get the coal in respectively, you can get to a position where you win the game. That being said, however, this doesn't mean you win. This just means you kind of know the numbers, you know the math relevant to a win. There are ways and means and methods of throwing people out of their rhythm, out of sync, basically. I'd like to think that the way that I won games was obviously through very solid and technical play, but more than anything, it was about identifying when builds like this were weak. Noticing that, they're turning on their third iron node at an early point in the game when they shouldn't be going anywhere near this. So that sets them behind in their research by a good 5 to 10 minutes. So where are they on the research? Well, actually, do you know what? Let's dissect that a little bit, because I've never really gone into detail about this. But this is why I used to win. I kid you not, boys. I know I joke and laugh about like, oh yeah, I am a great threat farmer, but you need to understand that there are certain points where you can intercept the opposition's play and you can cause them damage. If they go for a greedy play, or if they don't, if they go for a really sacrilegious, like super thin build, and they don't have enough of anything to get them anywhere, but it's like a super like risk-averse playstyle, you can punish that. If they go for a really greedy playstyle, let's say they put that third iron line down, right? You can fucking punish that. You just need to know how. And that how, it really is dictated by how much you've played the game, and also being able to spot this. So I'll typically be, you know, down here, if I'm on south, threat farming away, and every 5, 6, 7 minutes, I'm looking at the other side going, okay, what are they doing? Where are they? Where's their technology? If I had to take an educated guess, where are they on the tech tree and where do they want to go? Given what I'm seeing from here now, what is their next play? And if you can intercept at the right time, and again, it really is about the right time, because you could make what you feel is a hero play, and you could tell your team, all right, boys, if I see them put that iron line down, if I see them go for extra steel or extra stone, if I see them going for X, Y, Z, or I don't see them doing this, then we're going to do X, Y, and Z to counter it, and it doesn't work. You kind of look a bit amateurish, really, to a team of people that are meant to be following your lead. So you need to be very careful about leading people down the right paths, and also kind of making sure they know why they're doing and what they're doing is working for a reason, right? So, you know, it's... We'll see bits of that throughout this game. However, we're not directly tied into comms at the moment. And as you can see here now, the South, Ness, by the way, fantastic speedrunner, a previous world record speedrunner from France, one of the captains on South, instead of putting down an enormous amount of smelting, blueprints effectively, just to suck one down for now. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to end up with a build like this, but you can compartmentalize this level of production in other areas for other people's efforts. So by making this build here, and again, I don't have my drawing tools on me today because they're slightly bugged. I need to go into GitHub, and have a look at what the most latest deployable version of that Python code is. But this makes our base very tall. As you can see, the river is what bisects both teams. And having all of these smelting stacks really kind of raises the roof on our base. It makes us very tall, right? And so when you have a very tall base, you know, if you're working on something down here, for instance, like oil or plastic or, I don't know, more power, and the top of your base gets, you know, hit by bugs, you have to run quite far away, quite far to defend them. And is somebody really going to make that run from like back here, over here, to kill some bugs? I mean, here we go, here are the bugs. For now, they're crashing in on the stuff that's real. They're crashing on stuff that isn't the blueprint, which is these physical, obviously, bits of production. But over time, this will exist. And so potentially, what Ness may do, and other people may do, is they may build a couple of lines here, a couple of lines here, a couple of lines here, and then through belts, feed them into production further through. So yeah, there's different ways of doing it. There's nothing wrong with building tall, but you've got to be ready to defend this. And as we can see now already on the north, these bugs are not that strong. They're not difficult to deal with. Pipes is meleeing them. They're not problematic, but they will be. They always become problems. And so, you know, over time, if you're slow and the bugs continue to come, if I'm on the south, I might be saying to my friends, hey guys, let's start pumping these bugs up. Let's start getting them from 1%, 2% evolved. Let's get them to 10, 15, 20%. There's a gap here we can exploit. There's a crack in their idea, and you know, you don't want to allow them the chance to stumble and recover. You want them to stumble and fall, in the sense of their momentum, in the sense of their build priority. You want to throw them off their game. Lastly, and this is very important, and I don't think it's spoken about enough, and I want to kind of preface what I'm about to say with love, not hate at all, right? So please get at me in the comments, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but like, people that play Factorio in a very confined, rigid way, have very confined and rigid ways of playing. And the reason why these players are as good as they are, and they are very good, by the way, in a building competition, these people blow me out the water every game we play. I guarantee you that. But they have very rigid ways of playing, and if you can interrupt their thought process, if you can disrupt the way that they think and throw them off their game, lads, that's half of the win already there. Now, that's not everyone, but there are, and you'll know this not just from this game, but it tends to be automation game players, people that play these automation type games. They have very specific and rigid ways of doing things that don't allow the individual doing it to be adaptive or to cope with stress on their build too much. So if I'm fighting, and I've beaten pipes a lot, I'm not just saying that because it's pipes, it could be anybody here, like I've beaten them a lot. I'm talking like triple digits here. I've beaten this person a lot. Not just as captain, but as a player. I've had them on the team and won with them as well. But if I know that they like to build one way and they don't want anybody helping them, holy shit, dude, that is an opportunity for me to completely fuck with them on the enemy team. If I know this person doesn't like people helping them because they're just like, nah, dude, I place everything, right? I build this, I place everything. You go off and do something else. This is my build. You must just leave me to it, right? People are like that, and there's nothing wrong with being like that. However, if I know that's what you're like, holy shit, am I going to try and do everything I possibly can to wobble the ground that you're standing on to give you more to think about, right? I want to start setting off grenades around you so that you're distracted from doing this thing really efficiently, and instead you're putting out fires that you shouldn't really be putting out. But no man is an island. No one individual is an island. So when you do find the people that say, look, I build on my own, you go off and do other things, right? I'm the builder here. It's going to cause problems, you know, in the same way that when I see things like this happen in builds, oh my God, mate, I am taking advantage of this so hard. This is diabolically terrible. Like, if anybody's watching, can anybody point out what I'm looking at here? I'm going to give you a full explanation, but like, I'm going to just kind of briefly touch on why we don't allow things like this to happen in tournament games. Does anybody have like an educated guess as to why we don't do this? And if you don't know what we're looking at, that's fine. But I'm telling you right now, somebody needs to shut this down fast, like really fast. This is a genuine waste of time, and also slightly, I wouldn't say game ruining, but yeah, I would be having some very fast conversations with the individual involved with this and tell them to unplug it. Don't even bother pulling up the buildings, just unplug it. Just turn it off. This is not good for us. And I'll go into detail about that now. Give me a second. So, we need belts. Hello. Hello. Yeah, he's wrong. So, as you can tell already, people are stream sniping. Nothing wrong with that at all. The reason why we don't build malls away from main base, and the reason why we don't filter items out in this particular way is it slows us down. Every building that's on the ground here now could be here now. So this tiny smelting line, and again, you can do this off the rip, but like, what are we in now? 19 minutes into the game? you could have easily set up a like a couple of buildings here and just hand fed them. The reason why we don't do this, and again, even if Ness built this, I'm sorry, it's not correct. And again, maybe the meta's changed, and I'm happy to be called a dinosaur, but we could have a small amount of smelting and a small amount of item production, or all these buildings could go down here and create massive amounts of smelting, create massive amounts of more production, and create massive amounts of items. So it's about division of labor, division of focus, and division of time. If it's taken 20 minutes to set down a set of buildings that will eventually be switched off and turned off anyway, I know where I'd rather them be, and it's not here. You can set, oh, by the way, also you can set this up, this belt and underground feeder with a 2x2x2x2. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, I'll post a link in the Discord about what those buildings are. But effectively, you take two assemblers. So imagine this build here. Yeah, imagine exactly this build here. And I believe it's like copper wire, gears, inserters, belts, gears, copper wire, green chip, something like that. 4 boxes in the middle. You just fill them with copper and iron. You then set the relevant prerequisite buildings to what you need from them, and you just set them up and let them go. Right, everything is pulled from plates. You don't need to have any kind of smelting going on. You literally just pull from Burner City. Yeah, I love Ness, by the way. Ness is a fantastic player, highly skilled player. I have no problem with Ness whatsoever. It's a bit of a mistake. It's a bit of a mistake. Or it's a panic move. It's I need something down right away that feeds me right away, and I don't necessarily want people handcrafting stuff that I can't control. So just give me boxes of stuff and I'll make it happen. Like, I'll get halfway there. But yeah, I don't love it. Again, also too, lastly, and importantly as well, a lot of real estate here, where something else may, something else could go in this area. I don't know what, let me know in the comments. Yeah, Ness, don't hate me, mate. But I think I've got a pretty solid win record against you, so I'm not too fussed. You do you. All I'm saying is the North are absolutely smashing it at the moment in comparison. Both red and blue signs are... red and green, signs. I'm not colorblind. Red and green signs are going down. And I'll transition this as well. And I did mention, by the way, guys, at the beginning of that rant, it's all said with love. Like, it's not with hate. It's not with derision at all. Exactly. Yeah. Ooh, that's not what you want to see. Labs need to stay as safe as possible. So the North have managed to get down a ton of science building machines that are churning out a ton of science that are going to be chucking that science into the labs. From there, let's take a look at where they want to take their research. As we all know, the tech tree in Factorio is enormous, or as they say in France, énorme. And because it is énorme, we don't need everything on that tech tree, right? We don't go into a shop and buy everything on the shelf. Well, I don't. I don't know about you guys. Well, maybe some of us do. I don't know. Some of you guys that work in like IT must be getting paid up the yin yang. Maybe you do go into Tesco's and go, what of everything? Oh no. No, we can't lose a single lab. Oh my God. Guys, put some turrets out here. Holy shit. So yeah, we don't go into a shop and buy everything. We only need a few things. We call this the main line. Like in chess, there are lines to play that get you the win. So there are lines where you can like win the game in 5, like mate in 5, mate in 4, etc. There are certain technologies and routes through the tech tree that will grant you a win if you can get there quickly. And with the North having both red and green signs being thrown into labs at the moment, although they're not researching anything right now, they're primed and ready to, when this all turns on, research very, very quickly. I mean, we're talking like what would normally take a couple of minutes will take literally a few seconds. And that is the power of a big build. We like a big build. And this is like what? Yeah, nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 16 per row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Which in my head, doing all the math I possibly can, is a lot. And coincidentally, the South are also here too doing the same thing. But what we're missing at the moment is the lab line. And beyond that, also the research too. I feel like they're slightly behind. So okay, no, they're ahead in terms of they've researched their military signs, but they're behind in terms of some of these exclusive researches. So the North have already locked in automation 2, heavy armor and radar. and how much of science has to have each side produce as well. I love these panels, by the way. Massive shout out to the people that even to this day still upgrading and installing new bits of tech. Like, I feel like we're not stagnant at all as a community. And here we go. So the North have produced their first red jug at 4 minutes, the South at 3. Their first green jug at 21 minutes, the South at 13. And at 23 minutes into the game, a minute ago, the first military jugs were on the South. Which is interesting because the South seemed to me quite far behind. But maybe there's some people out on the edges picking up the slack. Yeah. So we have that. So as I mentioned earlier, we could have a large build like this. Or what we can do is we can break this build up and we can part it up across the map. So other people are involved with. Is this the ghosty? It's a ghosty. One of the many ghosties. Hey mate, how's it going? How is it going? Nice to see you with us, mate. Nice to see you with us. Yeah, it felt to me at the beginning of the game, the North had a stronger handle on the game. However, the South have managed to get their military science on. They haven't plugged it in, so it's not in the labs being researched with. But it's interesting that they've managed to get that on the go. Although, yeah, we've got a couple of bugs we need to deal with too. And finally, these smelting lines are starting to thicken up, right? We don't just have 1 or 2 lines. We're starting to go with the whole hog. There's a lot of resources to be bought here. As you can see, this massive iron patch has been dragged in. So we need to get that smelting as fast as possible. And hopefully down the line, we might see some steel kick into play as well. We will need that within the first kind of 35, 40 minutes. Just spent an hour pressure washing the driveway. Oh, lock blocks. Don't, mate. I'm quite lucky. I've got some flagstones in the garden that I pressure washed a couple of weeks ago, and it was so much fun. It was genuinely like playing a video game. I was just blasting, like, I put it to like a really thin spread, and I was literally like drawing faces on the blocks and stuff. Oh mate, I was a child. I was a natural child for like, yeah, a couple minutes. I had the great idea to see if it would like work on my shoes, and I was like, nah, dude, don't like don't blast off my own toes. Yeah, don't want to go to A&E and be like, hey man, I self-injured myself by like pressure washing my toes off my feet. Don't do that, PSA, don't do that. But yeah, hopefully, mate, the weather held out. It's threatening rain where I am right now. Like, I'm planning on doing some barbecue later, but it's threatening rain. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I had those intrusive thoughts. I was like, just one part of your shoe. Let's just see if it can blast off some mud on. No. Oh my god. So, where do we want to take this? 15 on 14, almost 30 players playing. The South are moving into research, fluid handling, moving towards all gathering, and then advanced material processing too. The South, however, are I'm for new players. If you wanna hop in, I can explain some stuff. That's always nice. That's always nice. I don't need new players to join the stream. I'm not trying to like artificially inflate the numbers here, but if somebody is sat on Spectator Island and they're not entirely sure what's going on, it might be better for them to just jump in here. Because you want to know about threat farming, mate, I'll tell you. You know, why do we build labs like this? I'll let you know. So yeah, there are means and ways of going about learning the game, and I feel like this is one of the more accessible versions of that. So yeah. Alright, we talked about things that are negative, and there are millions of them, me being one of them, but in the game specifically, we'll talk about some things that we like about the South, and the North as well, because both teams have got redeemable qualities, and, oh damn. What's this guy doing with like almost 2,000 plates on him? What the fuck? You seeing this? 1.7k plates. It's random, holy. Okay. Yeah, I think he got grenaded by his own team. Remember, guys, this is a tournament that we are currently experiencing. It's a doubles tournament, so 2 captains on either side. They're not going to put up with much bullshit. If people start messing around or start fucking with the main build, they're more than likely going to get kicked. If this was a normal Saturday, Sunday game, you could allow a little bit of learning, a little bit of space and brevity for people to understand like where they can kind of push it. But yeah, if your kind of competitive life is on the line, in air quotes, so to speak, in terms of this tournament, I can't imagine many people would be happy with you nicking a load of resources and running it down. So, all right, what do I love about the South? Their threat farming. Love that. They're doing it well. Minus 800 and they're 4.2% on either side. Do you know what? For 30 minutes into a game, minus 800 to 1,000, I'll take it. There's two of you. One of you is building a base up. The other one is threat farming themselves. That's fine. I love the fact that you've got Coffee Owl out here. Ncling and Joshua, absolute power couple, by the way. These guys are dangerous together. I've seen these guys play together as well. Very, very strong. And having, I guess, made the most of... I mean, you're never going to get the most optimization out of these mix patches, but it looks like they're trying their best. And off the back of this, they're managing to create a load of interim items that they can then convert into maybe spam, or potentially even something a bit more powerful than spam. Potentially. Remember, we are on piece of cake difficulty today, so... You know, like early spam does not have the same kind of weight it does. And when I say the word spam, what I mean by that is that by throwing science at the opposition team, there's a small menu on the side of your screen when you're playing the game that allows you to inflate the number or the strength, the damage, the health of the enemy bugs. In a game mode like Piece of Cake, yeah, you're not going to get away with early game spam. Like that red-green spam is not going to work for you, as well as it could be in other areas. So... All right, Coffee Owl coming down, making some power. I like the look of that. So positives here are, we've got a power couple over here in Joshua Ncling. Coffee Owl not too far behind. The threat farmers are kicking ass. It's 700 to 800 negative, that's great. Main base is building up nicely. They've got a decent amount of labs down. I think we could do better than this. I'm just putting it out there, lads. I think we can get like 2 or 3 more rows down like this, but it's not terrible, all right? We're talking about things we like. I like this. This is good. This is working for them, and research will come fast. The power block in main is looking healthy. It's beefy. Yep. Qkrat is out here. Absolute carry, by the way. Qkrat, Fordeka, Neuro, Just Bob, Ncling. These are some names. Pipes, for instance. Prox, Marich, Gabriel. These players, right? You just add them into a team, and they add so much. They don't need to be like the main carries. They're not the main character of the kind of the effort, the offensive or defensive effort, but they are always good to have on your team. If you're picking teams and you see a name like that appear, go for them. Honestly, you're never going to go wrong by picking a player like Abraham, ever. Like, there's some names where you'd be like, I don't really know. I know Sherbill plays a lot. I don't know what they do, so I'd be kind of concerned about picking them with a role in mind that they might not be able to play. But for instance, if I'm picking somebody and I need them to do a good job, Neuro for a start, 100%, Prox, 100%. You know, there's some names out there, if you played enough on this server, you just know these are like rock steady people, you know, rock steady people that can just do a job for you. The Cobra, I think, is emerging as one of the main threat farmers, kind of the counterpoint to Zero Sun. I believe the Cobra is a pretty good threat farmer. I don't know this for sure though, so I don't want to big him up too much. It takes a while to be good, by the way. Like, you don't just pick this stuff up overnight. You know, there's like a certain pattern rhythm to what you need to do, and you need to bounce between kind of creating this, what they're making now, this base, and actually going and threat farming. And what worries me a little bit, just a little bit, is it appears to be 2 on the north and 2 on the south in terms of threat farmers, and the southern guys, they're losing out a little bit here. Oh, I've been getting my sides wrong. Sorry, blue and red. The south are the ones that are slow to threat farm. Interesting. So the northern guys are kicking ass at the moment. Is that because they're mass producing grenades? I think so, right? Yeah, okay. So we talked about what we love for the south. Let's talk about what's going well for the north. What do we love about the north? And then we'll go right back to negative. Shit sandwich them, yeah. Pavev, Sherbill, and Obscini. Never heard of Obscini before in my life. Sure, they're a great player. I'm sure they have a lot to add, but I don't know exactly what they do, so I can't comment highly, massively on that. Pavev, very strong player. Sherbill, I think, very strong player. I may be wrong. I think this is a Smurf. I may be wrong. Oh god, sorry, I need to sneeze. Oh damn. That, my eyeball. Eagle, damn it. Goddamn Smurfs. All right, that's Eagle. Fair enough. Eagle is, when Eagle is on his main account, is a good player. Okay, so I like this. Pavev, Obscini, and Sherbil. Yeah, these guys will manage to put together a very decent, sizable outpost off the back of how they play. I don't know Obscini, but again, these two guys here, very strong. Main base players, I like the fact that, yeah, they've got really deep labs, really, really thick amount of labs coming in. It appears to be being relatively well fed here. We're slightly down on green production, but you know what? If most of this kicks in and most of this works, then that's absolutely fine. Again, we're starting to work on Oilers ready, which is great. I know, yeah. I just noticed that as well. Oh, terrible. Terrible. It looks cursed sometimes. Like I was drinking coffee earlier on and it was doing this kind of weird horror film glitchiness. Okay, I like the power like this is a bit weird, but I don't hate it. It's a bit odd to make power like this. Most notably, sorry, because of the gaps in the power block. Like, you kind of want to keep things condensed as close to the river as possible. So you tend to, in the olden days, you know, back when I used to play, when dinosaurs used to roam the earth, you tend to create power that is as close to the water as possible, that just is a line. It just lines up across the way. The reason for that is, you know, the closer it is to the river, the safer it is. Which is why you tend to find most people build their labs like river facing. You know, in the past you've seen labs appear here because effectively what the bugs need to do first is fight their way through every other part of your infrastructure before they hit that, before they get there. So, but we're talking about the north though, and again, I like their threat farmers. I like what they're doing up there. They are knocking the bugs down relatively quickly, although we could be in thousands here. I don't know what we're doing in terms of like being slow on it, but we could, if we wanted to, be in the -1,000 to like, what, 1,500 at this point. But still a good combo. Quidé and the Cobra. And then we have, these guys are the dark horse. This is a dark horse element here. Most notably because... Hang on a minute. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's my avatar's, I don't know what's going on today, but it's weird. It's glitching out, mate. It's glitching out. Darknade and Calipherbot, a fantastic pairing. Very strong players in their own right. Califer, I believe, is streaming as well. So if you want to get like a... Yeah, it's winking a lot, isn't it? I don't know why. It shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be, mate. I'm wearing glasses and I'm not blinking at all. So I think we turn it off if it gets distracting. I think we turn it off if it gets distracting because it should not be blinking at all. It's probably reflection, yeah. In fact, I'm going to make an executive decision, mate. I'm going to turn it off because it's just going to be a distraction. So let's do this. And do that. And what I'll also do, I'll hide chat away. So we get more of the... There we go. We get more of the screen. And I'll still be able to read chat, lads. So I'll still be able to answer your questions and kind of get to anything you guys bring up. But we'll keep it... For the Puritans out there that just like Factorio and Factorio alone, there's no more 3D me. And there's no more 3D chat. Well, no, I'm still here, and chat's still here. But it's not on the screen for all of you to see, so... yeah. These guys, very strong pairing, Darknade and Califer, could provide some interesting mid to late game plays. So, worth keeping in mind. Let's take a look at research. Let's see, what are they working towards? Zero Sun's being dropped from the game. This is not a good look, because he's one of the threat farmers on South. The North are going for Lab 2, into Blue Packs, and into Advanced Material Processing. They have exclusive to them. North Power is state-of-the-art. Automobilism, Logi 2, Radar Repair Packs, and a upgrade on their explosives. The South only have Blue locked in with Advanced Material Processing. And what are we looking production stats-wise? The North have yet to produce any meaningful military science, which is wild. They really have the facility to. I guess they want to kind of like focus and laser in on getting Blue down first. The Blue build will take longer to put down. And Banana's saying power is dead. How? Where is Banana? Is this thing still on? Developer made an announcement. What's the announcement? There's no problem with power. We've got lag already. I'm doing alright. My UPS is holding up. Lag. Interesting. We typically don't... There's no way... Not with 15 on 15. We've had lag in the past where we've had like close to 100 players on the server. But even then, in this early phase of the game, we shouldn't... Unless there is some kind of like, you know, connectivity issue, we shouldn't really be getting into kind of any connectivity issues unless you're playing from far, far away. If somebody's connecting from mainland China, there's a strong chance that, you know, after 30 to 50 minutes, you may not be able to continue connecting. And that's purely just on the basis that... Merit says, we are behin. Is this slang? What is behin? Is this like that 6-7 meme I don't understand? Alright, Ness is throwing down on the research. The South are looking primed and ready to go with the blue signs, and they have produced. So, have they now kind of overtaken the North by 2 signs? It's just about, actually. Holy shit. And full frontal goes down on the front line. The South front line is looking tenuous at best. Oh, they are. They're absolutely missing the D. This is looking tenuous. The South's positive threat means that the bugs will come and attack. Zero Sun is currently experiencing lag. You know, Jimmy, you can come into Twitch and type in my chat if you want, mate, but I'm not engaging with you through in-game chat. It just breaks the fourth wall. This tiny base is a mistake. I'm telling you now, lads. I understand the reasoning for it. You know, calculations were made, but damn, were they bad at maths when they were made. Although the northern threat farmer, not to be left out, has thrown themselves into piles of acid. I guess to mimic the South's playstyle? I don't know, like... Threat farmers should... Lads, they're at 6%. You can go in and melee them. They are not that hard to kill. And again, you should at least now have, like, heavy armor, right? Or have access, sorry, to heavy armor. Yeah, I mean, what I'm worried about here is that if Full Frontal is the only person connecting at the moment to the South that can play... Zero Sun's currently being dropped. Zero Sun, by the way, very strong threat farmer, absolutely with the right connection, can tear a game to pieces. I would say if anybody was going to give me a run for my money in terms of threat farming in the game, this guy's one of them. There are a few, but I'd say, yeah, Zero Sun's one of them. You know, it's like a boxer. You know, sometimes you lose a round. I mean, you still win the fight, but I you know, out of the 10 games I play against him, maybe like 1 minute of those 10 games, he'd be better than me, you know. He'll get better though, you know, give him time, lads. We shouldn't write people off because they're not as good as me. Monte Carlos, are you DDoSing zeros? Oh damn, that's from developer. Ooh. And remember guys, to stay humble. Does that mean, because developer has access to everything. Is there a player called Monte Carlos in the game? Have I missed this? Is somebody actually, there's no way. The Cobra Ghost again? Again? He just got back here. Oh no, that was Quide. Lads, what's going on? These bugs are dangerous, lads. If you can't do 6.3%, lads, you might need to pack it up and do something else because they're going to get worse. I'm not throwing shade here. It sounds like I'm being really negative, but like it's going to get a lot worse from this, lads, you know, and you're not going to have many more items than the ones you currently have on you like right now. You're going to have a gun, you're going to have grenades, and later on you have poison capsules and slow, but like Jesus, lads, 26, 36, 40 to 56% bugs, they will rinse you. You know, you need to get on board early, you know. The way I look at it, it's like rhythm, right? You need to lock into a rhythm early on and then never take yourself out of that rhythm of reloading, resupplying, going again, reloading, resupplying, going again. If you build that muscle memory early on, you build those patterns in your hands early on, then when you get under stress later on in the game or under pressure, you go past the 3, 4, 5 hour mark. You should have locked into a rhythm of playing, a pattern of playing that is unshakable. it comes back round to the fact that I think people need to threat farm at the beginning of the game because it's different to playing the game in terms of the automation side of things. And hopefully these bugs can tear this fucking base down because it's not that great. I think we just witnessed a murder. With no resistance whatsoever. Muddlebox just got spat on. I mean, by the bugs, obviously. In the game, obviously. Yeah, so here's my advice to any of you aspiring threat farmers out there. Start early, get into your work early, get used to what you need to do mechanically early on, get your hotbar set up, and the moment you can start. Because in an hour's time, in 2 hours' time, in 3 hours' time, when your concentration begins to let you down, the muscle memory should keep you going, right? It keeps wind in your sails and keeps you moving forward. These bugs will get stronger, they'll get faster, they'll hit you harder, but you should, in your hands, physically, unless you physically can't keep up with it, you should be able to kind of deliver mechanically, even if the game is like running away from you. So yeah, that's all I want to say on that. Stay with it, but persevere, and that you'll make mistakes. You will make mistakes. So if you die, get back on the front line, try again. Typically, as a new threat farmer, nobody should leave you alone. Another death. Did he grenade himself? What is going on? Is the new meta about blowing yourself to smithereens every I don't even like being here. I'm just going to blow my They pressure wash themselves back to main base. Oh my gaze. Yeah. It's very much that case today, isn't it? We're seeing deaths on both sides. Unless there is I do want to preface with this. If it is actually lagging for everyone, like the threat farmers will be the first people to feel that lag. They will be the first people to, want to turn their car and obviously through lag not turn fast enough and hit something. So I understand that point, but still, 6.9, a very nice percent of bugs. Yeah, dude, don't die too much. Like in the early game, in the first 30, maybe 40, 45 minutes, if there's no pressure on you, a death at most is acceptable. 1. Remember, every time you die, you're not threat farming. Every second you're spent running back to base, their team are threat farming, you are not. Is Jimmy50 playing for both sides? Do we need to do an investigation into Jimmy? He called out power, and then 2 seconds, literally the same second, Marich has said power has collapsed. Do we have an imposter amongst us? Well, likely, yeah, that's... A spy! The NG is a spy! Oh my god, mate, how could it... Oh, damn. The Pyro is a spy! Get Jimmy as a... I'd have Jimmy as a co-host. He seems to only want to talk to me in-game. So it would be very difficult to have a two-way conversation through text alone. I'm willing to try. I'm willing to try. Although, getting ChatGPT in might be slightly more interactive. Hey, look, Jimmy, very strong player, very mechanically strong main base player, really high win rate, really good, fast player. So again, you hear me talk about these guys like I know them from in-game, obviously. I hope they also are aware that I have a sense of humor, which many people find a bit off or odd. It's mostly self-derision, so I take the piss out of myself much more than I take the piss out of you guys, trust me. And if any of you see me play, I take the piss out of myself purely from playing sometimes as well. So, yeah. Anything we do say here, it's tongue-in-cheek. It's not at somebody. Please don't think that this gives anybody the right to personally attack or to start deriding somebody off the back of their playstyle. You've got to remember, guys, I've been here for a long time. I know these players. They have played with me a lot. Some of them may not remember me. Some of them may not, kind of remember playing with me. That's fine. But I remember when Zero Sum was new to the server. I remember when this guy was fresh, didn't know what he was doing, completely new to threat farming, and look at him now. Look at him go. Interesting. Why has this base gone dark? Are we leaving this base to die? Brand new player. Yeah, what's going on here, guys? Did somebody die out here? Yeah, Zero Sun is hard lagging, dude. Oh, they did get hit. They did get hit. That is, that's unfortunate. Again, the bugs aren't that strong. Ooh, that's what we like to see. Finally, some initiative. Qcrat, at the 49th minute of the game, sends 596 military science jugs to the other team. In the North now, evolution of the bugs jumps from 7.3% to 25%. And if those northern guys were having problems before with 7% bugs, 25% is absolutely going to rock their world. This will be a very different game for them. As you can see now, the bugs have gone from having small brown shells. These guys, so small, these are the smallest the bugs can be and can get. And they've evolved into these pink-shelled bugs, which are slightly bigger, slightly tankier, slightly faster, slightly more menacing, and they look a little bit more fabulous than the brown-shelled bugs. I have to say, it's a great colour of pink. Some would say it's more of a salmon colour. I don't know how many of you guys are into your fashion, but it's not directly pink, is it? It's like a sheeny. Another 200 jugs go across, and we'll take a look at that too as I razzmatazz onto the North. The North are now at 27% bugs. They're still dealing with the negative threat. However, these pink-shelled bugs are a problem and will cause them problems if they don't A, research correctly into the defensive techs they need, or B, are slow to react to more sends. 27% is nothing to sniff at, and in a game like Piece of Cake, things can spiral very, very quickly. So let's take a little look, because there's only been 2 sends this entire game. The first of 596, followed by a 200 send. Now, what did that do? We started at 7.4% bugs, and that first send jumped the evolutionary state by 17 points and gave us a 25% margin. Another 200 military jugs beyond that point jumped threat 2.8% more, landing us at 27.9% bugs. Again, it evolved them. They got bigger, they got stronger, and this isn't the last state that they evolve into. They're going to go from brown to pink to blue, and then finally to green, behemoth bugs. And I think that we will reach a behemoth bug level in a game mode like this. There's enough room in the game for it to happen. That being said, I think it's time to take an overview of the game. Black is the only color, eh man? It's black is like my soul. Dark is the pit that covers me. What a great poem, by the way. And for any of you that doesn't know about Invictus, go and read Invictus. That is poetry. And I mean, it is actually poetry, but it's such a good poem. Black is the new black, honestly. People thought it was over. It's not over. It's just re-back. Back in black. I hit the sag. Oh yeah, sorry, copyright. Don't want to get flagged here. So as you can see now, huge blue build on the south as well as on the north. This is all heftily calculated so that we get exactly what we need for our research. And as I say that, let's take a look at what that research is going into. The north are looking to complete lasers into the laser turrets through LDS, blue chips, lubricants into electric engines. This to me is main line. This is how you win a game. You don't necessarily need to go turrets right now, but why not? If you have an outpost to building them, then you may as well give it to them. Release them into the laser building world and let them do their thing. And so far, the only southern exclusive research that they have is speed modules, which is interesting. So the north are ahead 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 individual research techs. Now, some people would argue some of this is frivolous and unneeded and is slowing down the North's momentum. But when you're 9 technologies ahead, you cannot argue that that team is slightly winning the race. Now, the race isn't over until obviously your base is collapsed, or the enemy base is collapsed. However, it's not a bad way to start. And I would argue that maybe if this base had never switched on, the South would be 9 researches ahead, right? You know? I think this equates to around about 9 levels of research. I'm not letting it go. This was a bad idea, lads. I'm not saying the South are going to lose. They may lose if their threat farmers keep lagging. This is an area of concern for me, is just if these guys are struggling with connectivity issues. Although, let's take a look at the North, right? They're still threat farming relatively well. Again, 27% is not a big deal. It's really not that impressive. Like, for context, like, I think that the hardest level of bugs I've threat farmed successfully was about 300%. There's a video of it on the YouTube channel, like genuine 300-ish% bugs. And I managed to get that for about half an hour before eventually you collapse. Like you always will collapse. It's just how long you can ride it out. And I love this. This is old school ways of playing. Use these stone furnaces. You end up with a million of them by the end of the end game. At the beginning of the game, you end up with so many of them that you then replace them for other things. So you may as well use them as static walls, static defenses. What Cobra might do is eventually, not intentionally, but drive into these, unfortunately, and lose his car. If he does, we won't point and laugh, but we'll look at a pancake car on the ground. But yeah, just be aware, this is a barrier now that you may crash into. But it's good to have. It's a wall. It's protective. So this is good for the north. Sorry. And this is our laser production. Huge. You love to see it. Massive laser production go down. For the north, QCrat sends another 395 military signs. The north are now dealing with 32% bugs. 32% compared to the south's 8%. And, you know, you've got to ask yourself a question. Did the south just plow on, keep pushing, get to purple and then start sending them? Or are they going yellow to a rocket? Do they see the game going long term? Because the north can absorb this pressure, absolutely. And so they can kind of like, they can weather this storm. But 32%, you're only 20% away from the next evolution. So potentially even a small, why am I even guessing? Why have a calculator? North, in their current state now, are at 32%. Let's say the south make 200 purple jugs and they send them. Oh, okay. Dude, 200 is not hard to make. 200 would jump them from 32 to 45. Let's start that again. Let's go for 500 jugs. 500 jugs, 500,000. It's a pretty substantial amount of purple to make. However, yes, that would not only put the north into a positive threat, but it would also jump the bugs one evolutionary step up from 32% to 56%. However, more importantly, from medium-sized bugs to big bugs. Once they go blue and beyond, they become very, very obnoxious to deal with. Obviously, behemoths become slightly impossible to deal with, but like obnoxious is the right way to phrase it. They're not fun, and they will run through poison clouds. You need to kind of grab a group of them and drag as many of them through as possible. Although, the Cobra, doing a good job here. Aiming for the worms. Yeah, you love to see it. This guy, all right, I take it back. The Cobra absolutely knows what they're doing. I don't want to give away too much about the tech right now, but all I'm saying to you, if you want to get a fast, and I mean like a quick jump in your evolutionary state into negative, if I was you and I had the access to the kind of items that would give me this advantage, a poison capsule on a group of worms will drop the threat massively. You know, as you can see now, worms pop and we start dropping in the hundreds, not just ones and tens. Do we get a death there? No death? Okay, yeah, so what I'm really happy about, what I'm glad that I'm not seeing a lot of is a lot of deaths now. There was a... Oh, shit. Ness is threatening a kick. On banana? For gears. Interesting. Okay, pressure is on the south. I feel like through absolute stubborn... They're not going to pull this down. Lads, it doesn't matter if you don't pull it down. The bugs will. I'm telling you now, the bugs will rip this to shreds. If you don't get a handle on the game, lads, that will be one of the last things you see before your silo explodes, is the mega build melting into the ground. Oh, damn. Although, to be fair, the South are in control of the game right now. They're not in control of the research. That much is true. And they're not really in control of the direction of the game. However, they are controlling the acceleration of the north side by pushing the pressure, and by pushing the pressure up to 32% in this early phase of the game. So yeah, we're almost an hour in, 58 minutes, cresting at that 1 hour mark. And when we do hit that, I'll do a quick 271000. What is that? What is a 2710? Does any of you guys speak? That's not binary, is it? Does any of you speak hexadecimal? I feel like people are falling out. Don't fall out, guys. It's just a video game, okay? It's just a video game. QCrat sends again, 34%, 0.6. Yes, I was going to say, not binary, because I saw a number there that was bigger than 1. I don't know what it means. 271000. Is that... I don't know. I'm not even going to try and work it out. That's something, and I'll figure it out down the line. It could be, banana might be from a part of the world where that is a thing. I hope it's not a swear word. I hope it's not racist. Don't be racist, guys. All right, it's 2026. Don't be that. You can do anything you want in this life, including being bad at biter battles, but don't be racist. And just like that, Ghosty stop racism. All right, we've hit the hour mark. Let's take a look. We're going to go around the clock clockwise from the north at midnight. We're going to take a look at their threat farmers. Quidai the Kattatau. That's a fucking Smurf, isn't it? I've just noticed the Kattatau. That's definitely Smurf. And Cobra are up here in the north at midnight, 12 o'clock. And they are threat farming decently well. Yes, they've had some pressure put onto them. Yes, they may be struggling at times with keeping the pressure up. One thing I would say, if I was just, if I was there on their side, I'm not saying I am. I'm not trying to give them advice. I'm hoping none of them are tuning in. They should just be playing the game. I would hope that they spread themselves out. Focusing in one area, like here, and negating these kind of these shoulder areas of the map will lead you to wider problems down the line. So there's 3 of you. You could kind of have zones that you work within, and then you bounce back to the defensive base and then bounce back out to your relevant zone. You shouldn't be threat farming on top of each other. That's a really, really bad place to be. So for instance here, Zero Sun, full frontal, they have these kind of zones, these areas they're working in, and they're just working their bits. Again, these bugs on the south, really, really easy to kill. A grenade will do the trick. 9% evolved. They're all brown shells. This is easy mode for the south, for sure. Easy mode. So that's midnight. That's the top of the clock on the north. Moving around the way, Califer and Darknade are creating what looks to be a bit of a monster, a bit of a monstrosity here. This, to me, looks like it's going to be churning out purple signs before we know it. So I like the look of this build. My guess would be purple signs. It could be making other stuff too. But yeah, if this does manage to kind of do what it needs to, in this kind of back end of the game, I guess kind of after the 1.5 hour mark, it'll turn itself on and start working. This could be a game changer for the north, for sure. Yeah, they're making a little bit of everything here. And they've got a couple of really nicely placed dedicated patches too. So I really, really like this build. This is really comfortable for them. In fact, I'd be really surprised if this isn't a game changer in the next half an hour to 45 minutes. Again, you need the research, which we've seen that the North have. They've locked in good research early on. They're still ahead by quite a few, and they're moving towards solar panels and then their speed mods. So yeah, if they can turn this on and build this out, this could be a game changer. I'm saying it now. If the North managed to kind of grasp hold of the game, the momentum and the kind of the pace of the game to swing it in their favor, it'll come from this area for sure. 100%. The research will come from here, but the build will come from here. Yeah, big time. I'm very excited about this. So let's keep swinging around. To the south now, we've crossed the river into the next outpost, which is QCrat, which appears to have been building spam to begin with, and I believe down the line may transition out of this into something else. I don't know if we stay here with spam, but if we do, I wouldn't say it's a waste. I mean, they're only using mixed patches anyway, but I feel like you could get a little bit more out of this base, whether it's building defenses or it's building something more than spam. I feel like you could, if you wanted to, get a bit more out of this, but it has done its job, and the North are sat at 34%, so, and it's only from this base, right? It's only from here. So this is nice. I like this. Not game winning, but game changing. It's changed the state of the game for the south to the north. As we swing around our clock, we'll start with threat farms first. Again, I like what I see here. They've built up a really decent base. They've got their poison capsules on. They have their their stone furnace line down. Yeah, this is fine. This is absolutely fine. I see nothing wrong with this at all. I'd love an extra body on the south down here too. There's 15 players on the south. However, if you've portioned everybody up correctly, then that's fine as well. As long as everybody's got a job, then, that's fine. Main base as we swing around the clock. I don't mind what's going on here. There's something happening here that I'm still confused about, but whatever, man. It's my confusion. Their labs aren't that thick and that deep. I do worry we're kind of missing a line here compared to the north, but This could be just heavily calculated in favor for maximum optimization. We do know, though, that the South are behind in research. You know, and if every line of science is full, which it is, we might have been able to squeeze an extra line of... I'm nitpicking, obviously, but when it comes down to it, there are margins of error sometimes that are in the 1 to 3% difference from north and south, from team to team. Sometimes just 1 or 2 extra labs may have just done the job. However, I like the fact they're getting their blue chips on. They're clearly about to turn on some mega builds. I like this from the south. Moving around the clock as well, we see some really large power blocks being built. I'm slightly nervous these are out of the way. These are within the kind of the scope of the bugs. If the bugs were to become aggressive on the south and they were to kind of storm through the map, this power block would be on the chopping block. And I don't know how much defense they're going to stick around this. So yeah, slightly worried about that. Really big green chip build coming through. I love this. This is super old school. I could talk for days about how this build used to win me games. You'd never make everything in one spot. You try and compartmentalize and give people objectives of small bases to create small, beginner and medium intermediary, if I can get the word out my mouth, items to send them back to main to then fund a build that we've made out here, which will be this massive. I love to see it. More of this. This is how you win games, boys. I'm telling you now. Hey, I'm a good gamer. Nice to see you, dude. I hope you're having a good weekend. I'm being super positive right now about what I'm seeing. And just to round out our round-the-clock base, we have this mixed patch, which is churning out, again, green chips. Other than that, there's nothing really going on here for the south, so we'll cross back over to the north. Equinox is... El Quinzot, my boy Ellie, is creating another power block out here. You love to see it. You could probably do a lot more with 800,000 coal. I mean, you could be building some monstrous power out here if you wanted to, but you don't have to. Meanwhile, Pavev's, as we continue around the clock to 9 o'clock, I guess we are, Pavev Outpost is producing some ore cracking batteries and lasers. Hell yeah. And a good amount of lasers as well. Exactly. I'm super positive. 254 lasers sit in a box right now. I'd be happy if they went into the ground, but you know what? They might not have the power for that. So for now... Are we going to play some Satisfactory soon? We are, mate. We absolutely are. No car accident for me, mate. Just getting my head down, really. It's been a very productive week. Bollocks. Never mind, mate. Well, I'll finish off my red belts. Who did this? You demon. Okay, yeah. This is a war crime. This not war crime. This belt and this belt, not a war crime. War crime, all the way down here. All again? Okay, somebody, Sherbil, jail, to the gulag with Sherbil. I like the production that's coming out of here too, though. They have a huge power block, which is funding this, and they're just making a little bit of everything. So, yeah, this is good. This is a good build. It's a defensive build, giving them laser turret, sorry. And off the back, oh, damn. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Let's walk through this scientific journey of both the north and the south and compare and contrast. The first red jug on the north was built 4 minutes into the game, for the south 3. For green, for the north it was 21 minutes, and for the south it was 13. So the south got there first with the green jugs, and 40 minutes into the game, north got their first military jug in, whereas 20 minutes prior to that, the south got their military jugs in too, and then not too beyond that, they got their blue jugs in, with the north following suit 2 minutes later. However, there is now a gap of 20 plus minutes, and in that gap, in that void, in that space of unscientific progress, the north have pumped out at the 1 hour and 5 minute mark purple jugs. And I say this with aplomb. If the north wanted to shake the south to their very core, well, we have a calculator for that. How many jugs? I need a number between 1 and 1,000. Obviously, 1,000 will do a lot of damage, so let's try and gamify this. What's the smallest amount of purple the north can send to the south to shake the south's existence from underneath them? Oh yeah, I'm good, mate. The TLDR, I'm good. I've just been very busy, very, very busy. So yes, more satisfactory later. For now, a bit of this, and yeah. Let's start with 200 purple. Okay, interesting, because it's not going to take long to build that. So if they were to send 200 purple now from the north to the south would end up with a much higher threat than the north, and they'd be only about 11% away from receiving big bugs. So that third evolutionary state. Let's go one step further. Let's say that the north, because of their generous nature, save up all of their purple jugs. For a send of 1,000. 1,000 is a lot, by the way. That'll take them a couple of minutes to build. So, damn. The bugs will jump from 10% to 64. The threat will jump from minus 6,000 to plus 7,000. So anywhere between 200 to 1,000 jugs being built and sent from the north to the south are going to have problems that they might not be able to solve with the kit that they have, right? They might not have the relevant prerequisite. Interesting. The north are going for their laser upgrades. The south are going for shooting upgrades. And they are behind in key techs. Really key technologies, they are behind. The south. I mean, this stuff you need to win the game. If you want to go deep into the game and go beyond, blue science research, you need your purple. You need your rocket fuel. You need your electric energy accumulators. You need all this stuff. This is really important. And shooting upgrades are great, but they're like the diamonds in the ring. The ring is what's important. The diamond is not. And it's a nice to have. It's a luxury, but you don't need it. And researching like shooting upgrades now, I just don't. I really don't like the position the South are in. Prove me wrong. I'm sure that that there is a move being made right now that I've yet to spot. There is something happening on the map that I've yet to kind of find out and find the function of. We have a large build here of yellow being turned on. I love to see it. And we're just boxing this. I guess, yeah, if you want to. Yeah, so 2 minutes after the north turn on their purple build, the south turn on their yellow build. The south have built 340 yellow jugs. If we send this though, and again, I don't want to be pessimistic here, guys, but if you send this and it doesn't do the damage you think it will, the north will just come right back. Like, even if you get them to 50, 60, 70%, yellow won't push them to 90. And so we are still minus purple, unless it's going to be turned on, I guess, somewhere. So the south have jumped straight to yellow, and they're going for their shooting upgrades first. That's weird, mate. That's weird. Why are we doing this? I sound like a South hater. I'm not. I'm trying to just, in my mind, try and figure out where they are in their plan, It's like dissecting a chess game. Midway through, you just see the position that the pieces are in, and you try and figure out what led them to this point. If their send is 1,000 yellow or something, right? Then okay, fine. You send 1,000 yellow to the north end up at 70% bugs, right? Maybe, or 80% bugs. We'll do the maths in a second, but like 80% bugs. They don't go to behemoths. They have lasers, and they have their upgrades in their lasers. I know the South don't know this, but that's stuff that we know that they don't. So they have the ability, if they need to just throw down chaotic defenses to keep themselves alive, they can. All whilst getting themselves up through the gears, through the tiers. Like, they'll get to yellow as well. They're researching with their purple. Here we go. So they're a whole tier ahead. They're researching good defensive tech. And, how they defend is important as well, though. That's something we really need to keep an eye on, is how they defend. Because a poor defensive effort, even with all the advantages in the world, will take you out of the game. It will take you out of the gene pool. And, this, I said earlier, this will be a game changer at the kind of 1 hour and 30 minute mark. We're closing in on that now. This build is churning out really solid items for the north. And it worries me. Okay, here we go. The beginnings of a wall. I like this. They're expecting, okay, so the north are expecting some friction. They're expecting some send coming their way. And that send will, well, it looks to me like, we're not researching at all on the south. I guess they think this is the knockout blow. whatever number ends up here in these boxes, I assume is what they assume would be the knockout blow. Looking around to the outposts, we have... Is any of this defensive? Is any of this lasers? No. Let's look at production stats. Show more. So they haven't... So the South haven't produced anything, defensively speaking. They have walls, which is fine. They've used a lot of them, obviously, through their research. No flame towers, no laser towers. On the north, 501 produced, with a buffer of 3. So 200 on the ground, 300 buffer ready to go. So if the Big Send come to the north, you can survive. Even if they get to behemoths, you can survive that. With well-coordinated, good threat farming, good positioning, good movement, good muscle memory, the North can absolutely survive this. A large hammer blow. If they drop the ball, they can obviously get, you know, swallowed alive by that. But yeah, I'm struggling to see what the play is here. Meanwhile, Mugen is at the 1 hour 14 minute mark, probably about 30 minutes before the game ends, building up their own base. Good luck, mate. I believe in you. Thousands wouldn't, but I believe in you, Mugen. Billions of people would watch this play and say it is pointless and a waste of your time. I'm saying go for it, mate. We may be discovering a new way of playing the game, and I will keep my eye open for this. And Marek is correct. We need more wall builders like Emergency. I would take everybody out of this game here now, like all of these players, and tell them to arc off in the nicest possible way. Cheesecake, get out. Gabra, unless you're doing something. If you're building, then that's fine. But like, get out of main, go up here with walls, build this big bastard wall, build it now. You know, like, help the team out. The South are about to send to us. We might end up with behemoths. We'll probably win the game, but like, get it done. Oh, I love this play. Pavev, you legend. You absolute. Well, you can get rid of some of the copper out of this. Like, please. Build more walls. Get rid of the copper out of these smelters. I love to see it. You know, just somebody put down some wall creation, wall production, and just let it flow, let it go. You know, this is what we need in order to build the North up, defensively speaking, because that wall needs to be massive. The South are building this too, and luckily, like, quite close to their main base too. Banana is throwing down a really decent wall. Remember, guys, they're not building at the moment laser towers here in the South. They are chesting a ton of yellow, so I guess they have a number in mind. I'm lagging, can't threat farm, same. Damn, lag seems to be really bad today, eh? Yeah, lag seems to be really, really bad. And do we have... We still don't really have any semblance of laser production on the South at all. And to be fair, the North haven't yet, it looks like, created any yellow too. I'm slightly nervous for the North, but if they play this one fine, like if they play this outstanding, what's about to happen here? Sorry, let me just wind this back. For any of you people that are new to watching, that are fresh to Bite Battles, both teams are winding up a large blow, a punch. You know, like a boxer in the ring, they're loading up a really big, devastating hit. And I think with the assumption that that will be enough to turn the game in their favor, to land that large kind of contact onto the enemy and stop them dead, stop them in their tracks, and basically kill them off there and then. The North are preparing very well for that punch. They have laser towers in abundance. I don't know if they have the power for all of these to turn on. That will definitely be a test. But they have a wall, they have some lasers behind it, so they can defend themselves. And these lasers are pretty strong against this level of bugs, obviously. Later on, when the bugs get really strong, this will be nothing. But for now, this is okay. The North are susceptible potentially to bad threat farming defense if the big punch comes against them. So they need to rally, basically. If a large send goes from the south to the north end up with massive amounts of threat against them, the north need to just all hands to the pump. Everybody just bounce out, start defending. We'll win, but we need to just stabilize for now, right? We've seen that happen time and time again, by the way. People stabilize the game at 90 to 100%. They cruise through that pressure period of time where things get rattled and rocked. And then slowly but surely, they just manage to get a hold of it, plug their gaps, keep things steady, win the game. The South are doing the same thing. They're setting up a wall again. It makes me nervous that you've got a massive power block outside of the wall area. Like this hurts my eyeballs, but it's not going to be the end of the world if it goes down. It's just going to be the end of power for part of your base. Philip, no, full frontal, no. Damn. And I think full frontal is one of the lagging individuals. Damn. Spectating now. I kind of worry a little bit. Yes, the South have a wall down. Yes, they're building yellow, a lot of yellow too. I'm sure a send will come at some point. But if it doesn't work, we may end up in a situation. I mean, we haven't been researching for quite some time now as well. That's something we need to keep in mind too on the South. These labs have not been on and throwing themselves into that researching effort that we need for a while now. I feel like these have been dormant for quite some time. And I guess time will tell. We're now reaching the 1 hour and 20 minute mark. Ness throws 1952 science jugs over from the south to the north, and the north have got some problems to deal with now. Behemoths are on the pitch. Green shell bugs will begin to spawn in. Their threat has gone positive by 28,000. It's a huge send, and this is the defining moment of the game for me personally. I think this is what will define whether or not the north have it in them to sustain, maintain, and continue on. Right? There are people in the northern kind of design group, or the people that are kind of creating the plan, the kind of captain's area, talking about what happens next. Hopefully, there we go. Everybody go to the car, go to the wall with the car. Perfect. A load of bosses spawn. This is dangerous. This bit's dangerous. This is where this is where you earn your money. You know, if you want to become a legend like me, this is where it starts, by the way. It doesn't end here. It starts here, and you need to keep yourself alive as long as possible. Even if your car goes down, mate, you need to stay here and do this. This is very important, downing these guys. With positive threat, it means that the bugs will run directly at your bases. So I hope that they have some defenses ready to go around these external bases here, because if anything like this goes down, that's a huge problem for both the north and their outposts as well. So yeah, I hope that somebody out here has lasers ready to go. And we can also take a look at their power infrastructure as well, because I believe now the lasers should start firing. Ooh, it's bouncy. It's bouncy. Okay, that's not ideal. And that's not a lot of lasers. That's not a lot of lasers firing. And this is where it's going to start getting expensive, lads. Don't run them into your own wall. Hit them with slowdown capsules. I mean, I'd rather lose. It's a very expensive loss, but, you know, they're strong enough to get some kills, so... Yeah, I mean, they can threat farm back into the negative again as well. I'd make sure that you still maintain those poison capsules going down as much as possible, though. Keep the pressure on the ground. And, yeah. We're now fully researching here on the north as well. So every tier of signs minus... space signs. Cobra goes down. Damn. I'm worried about these areas, dude. I'm seriously worried about the flanks, the edges of the base. Everybody needs to get up here. Like, I just bring everyone and their friend. You know, in a team of 16 people, I would leave 3 of them in main base. Literally. Like, just keep procs, keep Pavev, keep pipes. Everybody else piss off up to here and do your job, right? This, I'm not... Oh, he's grabbing oil, I believe. I think this guy's piping. So he's been tasked with more oil grabbing. it's still... Oh, Quiddy. Yeah, I've never seen the name before, but he's paired up with a lot of veteran threat farmers, veteran players, sorry. So my assertion is, this is dangerous, mate. Never kite them back towards your own stuff. Kite them up, kite them up. Oh, this is where the North can come unstuck. You've got this defensive line. It's not very big. It's not very long. You need to make sure you keep people in and around this area, right? Keep these bugs in and around. Don't let them go past you. And if they do get past you, get to them quick. The North now, I'd like to say, if they can maintain for the next 5-10 minutes, they can maintain for the next half an hour to 45 minutes. Because like once you go beyond 90%, you're either going to completely collapse, or you can just handle that pressure. You can manage that. Power is looking okay. Like, I would still massively advocate for using poison capsules as much as possible, because it's the behemoths that need the lasers. Everything else you can poison cap, like everything else, and just keep intercepting these waves. Get in their way. Don't let this stuff crash onto your production. You know, the lasers doing a good enough job. They're relatively well upgraded, not massively so. They could definitely take more upgrades, but like, you just got to do your job, man. Just like do as much as you can. Get in the way, intercept them, rebuild, start again. Yeah, and perfectly said from developer. North have lasers and on the way to rocket, the South aren't. And I mean, that it just goes to show, right? Like, they just need to persevere. Oh, what are we doing? What's going on here? Okay. Neuro, like the hero that he is, comes in clutch, a couple of poison capsules and some slowdowns, and these bosses will slowly but surely DPS themselves down. Luckily, they're not behemoths. They're chunky enough to be a problem, but here we go. Help has arrived. Everybody's just chipping in to try and just deal with this. There'll be more of this to come, but certainly for now, that is more than enough. And, ooh, okay, has this outpost been smashed? No. Hasn't taken a beating, but we do have some issues down here. And do you know what, mate? If Dark Nade, if they take a couple of these miners, that's the least of your problems. So, not too bad there. Everything now is weighted on what will be the response from the North. Every single thing, every hope and dream of the Northern players is resting on the plan, right? It's very easy to get panicky in these situations and say, "Oh, fuck, you know, we've got behemoths. We're losing some stuff. We're under pressure." It can feel like the world is collapsing in on you, but it's not. If you take a deep breath and you just zoom out for a second, all you have to realize is that these are just clearly problems that you need to intercept and solve. If you can do that, you stay in the game, you stay in the fight, your team moves forward, potentially the other team move backwards, and you get to live to fight another day. So like in positions like this, when you're on the North, you've just got to take a deep breath and just keep doing what you're doing. Trust the process. Trust the process. 90 versus 18%. It's a lot closer than it appears to be. And most notably because the South don't seem to have any ambitions to go beyond the 90% mark. So they've thrown their big punch, basically. They've thrown their knockout blow. And if it doesn't get a knockout, then the South might be in for a lot of pain. Now, they have a wall, but they have no defenses behind the wall. Meanwhile, the North have a decent laser line, you know, a decent amount of defenses to keep them in the fight. And until your silo dies, you're still ready to go, and they push forward. You know, I think they're pushing forward for a rocket. But it could be greedy. It could be overly greedy. I mean, let's take a look at the research real quick. Have you heard of the chocolate cake story from World War II? I haven't. Is it safe for Twitch? Like, is this the kind of story which I can read out? Or is this something you need to send me in Discord? Because I can't get too risky on Twitch. There's a new algorithm. It's the same algorithm. It's just a lot more aggressive now. Whereas if I go off script too much, I'll be labeled as a historic channel, and then because obviously there's nothing historic going on here, I'll get told off by the AI algorithmic bots, which obviously control all of us. But I told me, send it to me in Discord and I'll see if I know about it. Is this something to do with like the cake having like meth in it or something? I'm almost certain that like tankies used to get given drugs and stuff like that. That much I know. Like the Panzer lads, the Germans used to get given proper meth to keep them awake and keep them alert. I don't know what that does to you long term. Well, no, I do, because obviously, you know, people take meth nowadays, but like in a tank, oh, yeah, no thanks, mate. No thank you. Oh, shit. Dude, I'm telling you now, flame is a meta for me. Flame is a... I said this at the beginning of the game, right? How close oil is. Normally oil, compared to main base, is like quite far away, the first few nodes. And then the further out you get, the more dense the oil gets. Luckily, in this game, the oil was like really, really close to main base. So like, not having flamer turrets is a really weird... They're not hard to produce, and they go forever. And again, as you can see here now, the South have thrown their punch. This is it. They're sending yellow signs, and if that doesn't work, it's kind of game over. They need the North to kind of... to get this wrong. But building a rocket will take some time. You know, that's the thing, is that building white signs now will take a little bit of time. Like, if I'm the North and I'm kind of like, you know, saying to my team, yes, you know, do not worry, boys, we will get to a rocket, have no fear, just stick with the program, stick with the process. I'd also be boxing up some of this purple and some of this yellow ready to send, because there is no way the South stay at 17% for much longer than this. You know, you have spares. Obviously, use what you need to use for research. Do your maths in that respect. Once you've got an abundance, you can, if you want to. Ooh, that's a big old wave. Lasers doing some damage though, man. I mean, they're tearing through. They are tearing through it. But that being said, the bugs themselves are tearing through the wall too. But again, I would rather lose 7 to 8 layers of a wall than my base. So do you know what? Transitive properties, etc. Like, I know what I want to lose and what I'm willing to lose. I know what my risk profile is here. Everything other than my silo is part of my risk profile right now. I don't care. And also, if we're going there, why are we not prepping the silo now, guys? Like, you have time to prep this. There are people in main base that can prep silo. We're not a million miles away from it happening, really. Oh, damn. That is a behemoth death. This area is dangerous. There's not enough lasers here. They will break through. Damn, that's kind of frightening. And the power we have for this is yellow. Ooh, okay, this, again, we can't keep dropping the ball. Once or twice like this, it's acceptable. There's lots of pressure on the front line. You can't be everywhere at once. But you need to know that the bugs will come back to this specific area. They will return here. So you need to be very careful about that, right? It's not just a given that the bugs will just run at you. You need to make sure that you can control the pressure as much as possible. Like this. Like Sherbal. You know? Grab a load of bugs, drag them forwards, drag them towards our defenses, slow them down, let the lasers hit them, go back and do it again. You know, and the faster you do it to the biggest bugs you can find, the faster your threat will fall. And here we go. We're already on minus 9,000 already. I'd be worried about running into each other here. You know, maybe don't run next to each other. That's kind of terrible. Don't do that. But every other part of that was great. I love what I see from that. And this front line is very steadily, slowly collapsing too. So I would also kind of just make sure that we're plugging our gaps here and just at least reloading these lasers. As we have a look on the production stats here, they will be losing some too. This is not a guaranteed like, oh yeah, we just have them, right? They've lost a lot. 67. Okay, a lot less than I thought. Okay, they've lost 67 and they have 150 buffered. It's not looking good, but you know what? They stay alive. That's all good, mate. We shouldn't be too far away from some satisfactory. So with this game, I'm thinking will close itself out within the next 30 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes. Depending on how fast or slow either team decides to kind of finish the game off. With, like, at the moment, the North are kind of flying through the research. Silo is next. Beyond that, hopefully they have enough stuff to build a rocket and send it. That'd be kind of tragic. That would be kind of tragic if they get all the way to rocket silo building, rocket part creation, and then just somehow like a behemoth bug slips through and just kills them off. Like, that would be genuinely pretty tragic. But let's take a look on the South. What are they? Have they adapted their build at all? No, just... Whoa, dude, they went really big into yellow. Oh, damn. Okay, and we finally have some laser production. That's good. How many have we made? Less than 100. And are any of them on the ground? Can we have a look at their techs? Another power block is going down outside. Ooh. Ooh, that's not fun. That's not fun. Although, intercepted well enough. I'll have a look at it, mate. I'll have a look at it. There is a lot going on at the moment, though. And if we miss a beat now, we're missing key kind of plot points to the way that the map plays itself out. So I'll have a look when I got a free moment. But at the moment, I don't have a moment free. Quiddy goes down. The outpost has been depowered, unpowered by the bugs. Behemoth Spitters sit within the lines needed to provide. What would 5k white signs do to the south? Oh, damn. Let's take a look. We have a calculator ready to go. 5k white signs. I think that puts them 142%. Yeah, from 18 to 146, sorry, 146, and 200, so 250,000 bugs will appear. I like the yellow sending, but like it will run out of room. It will run out of space. Like the yellow sending eventually will not. So 3k there or thereabouts. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's do the wind the maths back a little bit. So let's go 3,000 to the south. You need even less than that. You need even less than that. So that takes us to 119. So let's go 2,000 to the south. 106. There's no, what, 1,000? Just 1,000 white signs gets us there? Dude, 1,000 exactly gets us 91%. Yeah. Dude, they need to send one rocket. And if I was them, I would send one rocket plus all the buffered stuff I have, right? You know, plus the buffered purple. I know, dude. And that's the thing, is that, like, what would stop the North? I know why they're not sending. Like, I get it. But at the same time, it's gonna, like, where is this silo gonna go? Like, North power is not great. When they're not expanding, well, they look to expand over here. This will be helpful. But with a lot of lasers firing and a lot of, like, the bugs keep pouring in. So again, I said that this isn't GG's, but you need to balance yourself out. You need to make sure you spread out. You make sure you tackle all the relevant kind of threats that come your way. If you can do that successfully, and again, these turrets are doing a really, really good job. They could do with a bit more upgrades, but you sacrifice your silo upgrade timing by going into those damage upgrades. So for now, if I'm a player on the North and I'm not building main base, I'm saying get your ass up here, lads. At the moment, 1-2 people up here is not enough, lads. Not enough. 15 people on North. Go and grab people out here from edges of the map. Tell them to grab a couple of poison capsules and get stuck in. But the wall holds, to be fair to them. And it's only in this area particularly where they're getting slightly kind of pressed. But again, once we hit that 90% marker, that's kind of it. Like, we're not really threatened anymore. Like, once they're behemoths, they're just bigger behemoths, right? It's manageable. Ness doing very small sends as well. Is that a sign of desperation? 118%? My worry is that, like, if we are going for a rocket in main, we need to start prepping the area, like, pretty quick. What you want to be able to do is, like, just quickly turn it on. And at the moment, it's kind of like a lackluster nature around it. Yes, they've got some rocket fuel going in, and they have their, you know, they've got a couple of parts here to make the satellite as well. They can grab blue chips from fucking anywhere, so there's no issue with blue chips whatsoever. An LDS too from, yeah, I guess you can just nick a load of LDS. But Q-Crack with a huge send, 2,756, doesn't do much. Doesn't do much. Military science now is basically worthless in the sense that it's not going to push any number up beyond, like, I mean, let's just take a look at that one send. You've built almost 3,000 jugs of science and it's probably done like less than 1%. Yeah, 0.8%. So yeah, that's dead and buried. There's no more military science that needs to be built and sent. You can if you want to, but it's not ideal. And that is a guy out on the edge. Ooh. Okay, right. They are making it out. Front line still stands strong for the North. And again, these threat farmers are doing well, you know? Like, people can lose interest or they can get overstressed from stuff like this. So just keeping it nice and calm, keeping it on a level, just get through your work one wave at a time. You know, just look at it like a mini game. I need to attract 10 of these guys, drag them towards our defenses, let the defenses do their work and blow them away, find another 10, do it again. If you can handle more than 10, grab 20, grab 50, grab 100, grab fucking 200 if you can. If you're really confident, grab as many of them as you can and kite every bug you possibly can see. And if you can do that, you'll be helping your team out massively. I'm worried though, there's not a massive physical presence up here. There's like one guy in a car. Sherbil as well, I guess, is intercepting on the flank. And Muddlebox is sending weirdly like a few things at a time. Like, what are we doing? Why are we not sending all at once? Is this like a meta? Well, 122% now on the North. It's nothing to sniff at. They certainly can lose the game from this position. I just think there comes a point where you just end up stabilizing. And you'd hope that maybe the South have something else that they're going to kind of plan to do. Because if they just want to keep sending yellow, then you need to send thousands, not hundreds, you know? You genuinely need to save up for a very, very, very large send, of which we're not seeing that, you know, happen. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, they are. They are. Because what this does is each time they send, it's an extra, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 into the threat. So they're just keeping them floating. They're keeping them above water. But again, it's a very expensive way of pushing up the number. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a super expensive way of pushing the number up. But I guess we're at a point now where only that will do. You know, only yellow will do for them. And they have nothing else other than yellow to do that with. So, yeah, purple has run its course. Military has certainly run its course. And if we look at, you know, sends-wise, nothing has really been sent from the North. They've sent like 28 red jugs, 14, you know what I mean? Like really small and minute amounts. Whereas, yeah, the South have gone for 4K military and then they've gone 6.4K yellow. And it looks to me like the North might be closing in on that rocket research. It should be flying. Oh no, it's not flying at all. What are we missing? Yellow? We're just missing yellow in some of our labs. But we have beaconed the back end of our research, so this should speed us up enormously. And now we have time to prep the silo, right? Now we have time to, oh damn. We have time to get this ready. Unless we're going to hand feed the silo, like that to me is just so janky if we do that. It's not the end of the world, but we don't want to be hand feeding the silo for a rocket. Get those belts set up now. Nothing's going to change in your build. You can optimize a little bit, but like I mentioned before, everything's already plugged in. Everything is going at a rate which is working for you. Maybe not perfectly, but it is. Looks like one of the undergrounds was backwards. Ah. People out here fucking around. Messing around. Yeah, it's a battery thing, isn't it? Damn. If only they could just feed this a little bit better. Batteries and steel. Ooh, okay. Hello, Mr. fucking boss. That's not good. I don't want to start. Ooh, there's another guy. They've made it through, lads. They've made it through. I mean, I'm lucky that I was here just to watch it happen. You know, I didn't mean to be in the perfect spot. But they have just flooded through. Everything is off now. Oh, damn. That is frightening. That means the front line has no power, right? No, they have some. Oh, that is just not what you want in the middle of your base. And they're just one-tapping boxes, one-tapping belts. Do we have anything for this? It won't be enough. It won't be enough, but it will keep him busy for now. Keep his aggression. Yeah, dude, they just dove in. Absolutely, like, head first. None of this is important. I just want to go for one box of yellow inserters. Oh, God. Yeah, they just need to keep this guy's aggression here. I mean, I would go for poison capsules as well. Just do as much as you can. If they're here though, they're not far away from being everywhere else as well. So like, yeah, just be very aware that your defensive effort needs to be wider than this. You know, they are making it through. The South can win this. The South can win this. I know it's a stupid thing to say because the North are dealing with some really difficult circumstances, but yeah, if the South manage to keep its muddle the scapegoat. Oh damn. Oh damn. The shade is being thrown. It's not even GG yet, and they're already calling it Muddlebox's fault. I know, yeah, I just saw that as well. The red inserters. It'd be kind of cool if there was an interaction where, like, and if an inserter pushed a bug, it could, like, you know, shove them a little bit, maybe. Let's change the music. This playlist seems to have run its course. Oh no, there's one song left. Perfect. That gives me time to look for more music. What do you guys want to listen to? Marit is listening to us. Please ban. I don't think it's that bad. Holy. If I was up here, I would grab a load of this steel, a load of these batteries, and I would chuck that into production. We are really, really slowly grinding out a research that it takes a long, long time. And this is problematic. The last time I looked here was a couple of minutes ago. It was at 12%. Now it's at 31%. It's just over doubled its time. And every minute that we spend not wasting, but not getting to that silo, the South are getting their defenses ready. Admittedly, they're not great defenses, but they're getting them ready. Like, the wall is going down. The lasers are going down. So, like, we are slowly letting the pressure off of them for playing slower than us. You know, for playing slightly less optimized than us. We're slowly letting them back into the game. We're taking pressure off of them. So I don't hate the play, but I hope that there is a plan in place to get our research back in line. So obviously get yellow pumping out a bit faster than this. And beyond that too, yeah, getting our silo ready. Like, what do we... If the plan is to send a rocket, it's got to be from here, right? You don't want to be making and building your own silo. And if that is the case, then somebody needs to be tasked with squaring this away. You know, get some beacons ready if you can. Oh damn. This, yeah. They just need to keep jumping on it. It's not sexy. There is nothing fun about this. This is genuinely nerve-wracking. If you fuck up, if you're the only guy here close to defending and you get this wrong, these guys make it to the end game. They beat you. You need to be ready for this. Neuro's ready. Of course he's ready. Born ready. But yeah, this is not part of the base you want any bugs anywhere near, right? You want production of these lasers to continue uninterrupted. So what I'm hoping... Oh no. RIP car. And the bugs are slowly clawing their way into the map. Slowly but surely, they're just making it a little bit deeper each time. And that is just not ideal. You need to power these, Big Chief. Get some power on them. They're sitting darks. Oh, that's expensive. That is a very expensive mistake. And it appears as though the North are slightly crumbling to this. The gaps are emerging. They're not being plugged as fast. The lasers are getting run down. 120% bugs, 131% bugs. That is manageable with the laser upgrades they have. However, nothing will stop the bugs from getting through unless you plug those holes back up. So they've made a couple of gaps in your defenses. You need to go back there and you need to square that away. I'm slightly more concerned that the bugs are making it out here. But again, manageable, right? And more yellow sends coming in from the south and north. I don't think they're progressing towards a rocket at all. So I don't think, if I scan over, I don't think I'm going to see any rocket production at all. No, they're just feeding LDS, feeding chips. I couldn't tell you, mate. I couldn't tell you. This will go on until it's done. So that could be 10 minutes from now. It could be half an hour from now. Both teams are playing pretty well. but we're waiting for the North to throw a punch. We're waiting for some aggression from the North. So, yeah, there's no definitive answer to that, unfortunately, mate. It stops when one team explodes in a huge nuclear fireball, and we call GG's. Which could be, I mean, if they don't plug their gaps that far, I mean, look at this. One thick wall is not going to be a plugged gap, or a plugged up enough gap. Oh, damn. So we wait. We play the waiting game. It's unfortunate as well that the research for the North is going incredibly slow. Yellow seems to be a bit of a bottleneck for them, so most of their labs aren't turning on, which means that their research speed is crawling at the moment. I mean, they've gained 9% in like 5 or 6 minutes. It feels like it's not going. Like, if I'm them now, I would be looking at what's my purple doing? Oh, we've cut this. Okay. Yeah, I'd be looking to do anything I can to speed this up and just get this producing. It doesn't matter what, like, I literally would not, I drag from other lines and take other items from other lines purely just to feed this. We do have blue chips, we got LDS. I mean, we have everything for a rocket, right? We have everything to produce a rocket. However, the laser shall not stop shooting. Damn, Neuro goes down. Although it's in the front line though, if there's ever a place to drop, it's the furthest from your main base as possible, right? Nice rock. Damn. Okay, the laser's still doing some good work. Front line it's getting chipped, man. It's getting chipped away. You know, these gappy defenses eventually will come unstuck. And again, another gap here. This just needs to be plugged. Like, do not allow them to just run in. I mean, look what happens when they do, right? All of these blotches on the ground, these spots on the ground are very expensive lasers getting torn to shreds. This is not ideal. Not ideal at all. Yeah, I forgot about this base. I did mention something earlier about this base having a lot of potential. I wonder where that potential is right now. I wonder what we're planning on for this, or has it just completely stalled out because it got attacked? I am confident that if this turns itself in, plugs itself in, that we can get a decent level of endgame items produced in order to kind of fund and fuel that final kind of silo. But yeah, they've been attacked here a little bit and it seems to have stopped some of, or in fact almost all of their production has been stopped dead. And that's purely off the basis that, yeah, they've lost a couple of items from the bugs just coming in. It happens, to be fair. The bugs are pretty aggressive. They're tearing through the frontline defenses, as you can see, with gaps in the wall, and certainly gaps appearing on this thicker front wall here to the west. That the bugs will continue to be problematic for the North, and it's just a matter of time. Like, let's check back in on that research. Is it any closer? Okay, it seems to be kicking into gear now, seems to be going a little bit faster. How much are we kicking this out at? This you like to see. This is what we need, by the way. For any of you wondering, the North win if they can create yellow jugs. That's effectively where we're at right now. They have everything else they could possibly want and need to build a rocket and to get that done. They've got all the satellite parts ready to go near the silo itself. This is not a problem, but they need to start prepping this area. This area needs to start getting ready for a rocket. And when I say that, what I mean by that is they need to start getting their inserters down. They need to pull up existing lines. They just have a lot of work to do, right? The game is not won, but you're at a point where you could win. The winning condition is rocket fuel number 1, satellite parts number 2, rocket parts themselves, well, we have an abundance of those because we're making a ton of blue chips. We have our LDS. So we're not a million miles away, but that research needs to come in fast, you know? If there was a way of boosting it, you know, turbocharging our research, I'd hit that button right now. I'd say, speed me up, you know, a minute at 100% bonus efficiency. Do that now, bang. You know, give me the boost button. The South are researching nothing. Flammables, okay. Now they go towards flame turrets. Okay, I see what we're doing here. Okay, blue chips are now being reproduced again. Decent, healthy amount. LDS2, really healthy amount from this base. So again, rocket parts are being produced here too. There we go. Perfect. That's exactly what you need to win the game, guys. Beacons. Light the beacons. Gondor calls for aid. Model box with a 1500 yellow jug throw. It's no different. 130% to 140%. There is not much difference there. The bugs are just slightly more annoying. They were annoying 5 minutes ago. They're just the same now. So, you know, one thing I would hope that is happening here on the front line is that people are bringing resources to replenish the front line. So hopefully we're seeing more and more turrets come up here. We're seeing more and more walls being produced up here. Here we go. We do have that to some degree. Yeah, a couple 100,000 walls in that box. Perfect. We need somebody to go and run like run offense and go and plug these gaps. There's 1,000 walls in a box. Just plug these gaps. They're so close to getting that rocket up. You can literally feel it. It's coming. It's materializing in front of us. 74%. They have all the items relevant needed to build a rocket. So once that silo gets researched, all they have to do is send in the items. They need their production 3s, which they've got. So they just need to kind of, well, feed this beast. That's all they have to do. If the North can achieve that, oh damn, that's 2 deaths. Very close to a very problematic part of the base as well. This is not looking good for the North. This particular spot has been a problem for a while, and it doesn't have a lot of people working on it either. We have a breakthrough here, which should eventually be kind of snuffed out, but this area here is very problematic. At the moment, the bugs are all condensed into a pack. They're all in one area fighting the lasers in one spot. The moment they break away, they start to break up into splinter groups, and that becomes the biggest problem that you'll be dealing with. So yeah, I said before, we needed to plug these gaps. We needed to get this. And at the moment, they are just eating up very, very expensive pieces of kit. And again, I'd rather than doing this to my rocket silo, but Jesus Christ, it does not get much more expensive than this. This is an enormous failure. If there's anybody in main base stood still, like, that is a massive problem for me as a captain. Get your ass up here. I don't care what you're doing, unless you're over here in this outpost, or maybe defending. Like, if you're defending, fine, but if you're not doing anything, get away from here and get up to the wall straight away. Like, no questions asked. I don't want to say it twice. Get up here, because look, once these lasers begin to die off, and they will, these bugs will split, fragment, and they will start to come in 1s and 2s down the map, and they will become impossible to collect. Right now, you can collect an entire wave with a boss in it, and you can deal with it there and then. I think the North might have collapsed here. I think this might be it. I think they've dropped the ball. They've been gallantly defending for about 35 minutes, but I think they've dropped the ball just as they're about to finish off their silo. I think they've just become slightly too porous defense. And again, there were 2 or 3 people up here, no more than that. They needed 10 people up here on the front, at least 9 to 10 people. You cannot tell me that you need 10 people at the back here now. The game is done. The game is, everything that needs to have been built has been built. Everything that needs to have been defended has been defended. Everything that you can do with your time and place from this point onwards is going to the front line. And that can be up here, right? It can be above your base, but it cannot be in your base. You need to get away from it. Like, go and defend it away from your main spot. I am worried now, because even if the North send a rocket, they still have to deal with this. How far is that rocket away? Just hand feed it, mate. I don't know what we're doing. Are we just are we missing LDS? Come on, boys. You have boxes of this stuff. Like 1,500 box. Oh. They literally. Well, it depends. It depends on what their role is now. I think that. I mean, my take on it is very simple. Strip this base out, take everything over here, and fund this. This is the only thing you need. Outside of that, get your body in front of the bugs. Use walls, use some furnaces, use red inserters, use anything and everything. You are so tantalizingly close to winning this game on the north. It is unreal. A rocket throws the south into disrepair and probably kills the south off. A single rocket, 1,000 white signs. However, there are bugs in our power. If you don't deal, and again, like I said, once they deal with the lasers themselves, they'll fragment off, and you'll get these 1s and 2s, individual bugs, just smashing into anything they want. As a pack, they're manageable. When they fragment, you're done. Yeah, that's game. That's game. Damn, they almost had it. They almost had it. And yet here, a very long line with a secondary pack. That is genuinely tragic. Oh, damn. Maybe they'll hold on for dear life. I don't think this is it, boys. This is game. If they get if they launch a rocket, if they launch it, that'll be a win for them. But I do not think the North win this game. And just think about this. If they had just tended to their research and just gotten yellow up for 10 minutes quicker than they did, and I know there was a lot going on, but for 10 minutes, then they would be ahead of this timeline. They would have a rocket in the air. They'd have been sending their science out and they would be winning this game. And instead, we're seeing a collapsing front line, meaning the bugs, instead of them being intercepted here now, they're being intercepted on your base, in your base. And if I'm the captain now, I'm saying to every single human being in here, in this game, deal with this, obviously. Like, this is a very easy thing to deal with, so please deal with that. But like, just get around main. Throw your body in the way. It's the only way you win this. As a team, you intercept their stuff. And yeah, this is genuinely tragic. And it's easy to sit back and say, oh yeah, I would have done this and I would have done that. I don't lose games like this. It's just so preventable. It's so preventable. And yeah, the autopsy will show that there are lots of opportunities that could have been taken in the mid-game to stop this from happening. But that's the end of this outpost, for sure. Because this wave of bugs might not kill them off, but it's a start. You know, there's more coming. And again, they're big and strong enough now to really fight their way through. So yeah, that is a shame. GG incoming. Yeah, I know. I kind of agree. Poison capsules go down. We are now at 63 out of 100. The North may get a rocket in the sky, but like, at what cost? You know, literally at what cost? You're about to lose everything. Yep. But they have boxes of blue chips though, right? They do. They have boxes and boxes. I remember seeing a box of like 1,500. And then like same with LDS. They have enough to make at least 2 to 3 rockets. Bare minimum. 71 of 100. The North still holds. But the bugs are going to shut down this outpost. Yep. You're closed for business now. You know, we're burning it down. Insurance fraud. I would grab these though. If I could, I would grab as much of this as possible, right? And the labs are getting smashed. This was, it was there for the North to take. Glasgow Stay. It was there for the taking. It was out there in the palm of their hands, and research was slow. I don't want to call out the non-threat farmers, but there were people that could have come up here and helped, and they didn't for some strange reason. And I do want to say, like, there is a point when you go and build a base that's out on the side, you're allowed to leave that base. This, not so much, right? You lose this power, your front line is fucked. But if you're part of like a base out here and you're just making, I don't know, like mall items, get to the front line. That base is not important. Not anymore. It might have had a semblance of importance earlier on, but right now it does not have a level of importance that is higher than the front line and even higher than... There it is. One rocket goes up. There is no fucking way at all they save. I cannot believe you deserve to lose if you save 2k whites. Are you kidding me? That's a good point, actually. Where is the landing pad? Still, are we building a second? Are we building another one? Are we seriously doing this? Lads, if you don't send now, we may never send. We are eventually going to run out of... How many lasers do we have left to even give to this? There's 200 left. There are 200 lasers left. And at the moment, each wave is chewing through 10 to 20 of them. We have, at best, 5 minutes left. Why are we not sending? We've run out of rocket fuel as well. Oh, boys. What are we doing? What is going on? You have 1,000 white signs. Just send it. What's the difference between 1 and 2? At this point in time, this is what drives me nuts. And again, I'm not saying this to shade the North, but you've been playing a game for 2 hours. And all you've done is let them wail on you with science, right? They have every piece of aggression in this game. You've weathered it with a smile. I don't understand why we play like this, guys. It genuinely boggles my mind. It does not slow you down building spam. It's one person's job. QCrat did it from over here. Got you to 30% very fast. Threw your threat farmers off a little bit. There we go, finally. Holy shit, that took a while. I can't believe they started building a second rocket. That is so greedy. And with bugs, literally within a stone's throwing distance from your main objective. Do you know what? I'm glad they sent at least once. Before the game is over, I'm glad they threw it. They threw something, right? Imagine playing for 2 hours and doing literally nothing offensive and then losing. It boggles the mind. It genuinely boggles the mind. I'm going to start playing these. I need to put my money where my mouth is, lads. I'm going to start playing these games. It happened a couple of weeks ago. I was like, fuck it, I'll play. And we won. And you know what? Not because of me, but we just kind of... it's game. It's so over. Why did we save for a second rocket? I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And it's not the North's fault, but they had every advantage going for them. They were, at one point, 9 researchers ahead, an entire level of science ahead. And their own hubris, I think, has put them in a position where they said to themselves, we don't need to send. We don't need to send. You know, we're the North. We're just going to get to a rocket and win. And then they got to a rocket and they started building another one. Fuck it. Colour me shocked. I'll talk to some of the players afterwards and ask them what they were thinking, but I genuinely think it's like hamster wheel. The hamster is dead and the wheel has stopped turning a long time ago. This is game. I'm playing the next one that's on. Not tonight, not today. I'm going to play some Satisfactory after this, but I'm very disappointed with what I've seen here today. GG's everyone, well played the South. I'm going to be honest with you, you're very lucky you won that game. Very, very lucky you won that game. Everything on this left-hand side panel indicates to me that this should be the winning team, other than the fact that it took them till the 2-hour mark. 123 minutes of playing a video game